Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a look at the very end of the Kingdom of Judah.
That's right, from the book of 2 Kings, chapters 24 and 25. Heavy stuff.
It is, and we're using a daily devotion piece, actually. It's called Even in Judgment, God's Mercy Shines.
And the big question we want to unpack for you is, well, even when things look completely broken, totally lost.
Like the absolute worst consequence.
Exactly. Can you still find some hope in these ancient stories?
Okay, so the devotion starts with what it calls the reality of consequences.
Right, and it zooms in on King Zedekiah.
Yeah, him ignoring the prophet Jeremiah, just completely.
Which, led Judah right into rebelling against Babylon. Not a good move.
Definitely not. The devotion highlights this pretty stark verse in 2 Kings 24.2.
Oh, yeah.
It was because of the Lord's anger that all this happened to Jerusalem and Judah. Pretty direct.
Wow, yeah. And the text, it really doesn't pull any punches about what followed.
No kidding. Jerusalem surrounded, the city burned down.
The temple, Solomon's temple, destroyed. Gone.
And the people exiled, just hauled off to Babylon.
And the devotion really frames these not as like random events, but as
consequences.
Direct consequences of ignoring those divine warnings.
It does make you pause, The devotion links it to us, to our lives.
How so?
Well, the idea that ignoring guidance, or maybe those gut feelings, it has real effects.
True. There are repercussions.
But it also suggests these consequences aren't just like punishment to destroy.
Like a wake-up call.
Yeah, almost like a drastic way to try and call people back. That's how the devotion puts it.
That's one perspective, certainly, that callback idea. You could also see it perhaps as just the natural order playing out. Yeah. Choices lead to outcomes.
Cause and effect.
But then the devotion, it shifts focus to something it calls unexpected grace in despair.
Okay, so we jump forward years later.
Yep. We're in Babylon now, deep into the exile. Things look bleak.
And this involves King Jehoiakim, another king.
That's the one. He'd been in prison for years. And then something surprising happens.
Which is?
He gets released. Just out of prison.
Okay, that's unexpected.
But it's more than that. He's not just freed. He's actually given this place of honor at the Babylonian king's own table.
Wow, after everything, after the fall of Jerusalem, the exile.
Right, in the middle of all that darkness, this little, spark of hope appears. It feels quite small, but significant.
Absolutely. It's like saying, even then, even in exile, they weren't totally forgotten.
And the devotion really leans into how unexpected this grace was.
It definitely makes you wonder if judgment is ever the final word.
That's a great way to put it. It suggests the story isn't quite over, even when it seems like it should be.
Like maybe facing the consequences doesn't mean game over.
Perhaps not entirely.
Yeah.
The devotion points out that God is, still working, remembering promises, even when things look utterly hopeless on the ground.
So these tiny moments of, I don't know, kindness or relief.
Yeah, even when things are really tough, they might mean something more.
Okay, so let's try to sum this up.
Sounds good.
We see how ignoring warnings, like Zedekiah did, leads to some really serious consequences. Judah learned that the hard way.
No doubt. The fall, the exile. Very real.
But then, even in that darkness, you get this unexpected moment of grace with Jehoiakim.
That small spark. It reminds us that hope can pop up in surprising places.
Right. The devotion wraps it with this thought: when judgment falls, grace still rises. God never forgets his people.
A powerful summary. Which leads us to maybe a final thought for you, the listener.
Yeah.
Think about your own life. Times when, you faced the fallout from choices made, the consequences.
We've all been there.
But maybe also recall those moments when, seemingly out of the blue, some unexpected grace appeared. A little kindness? A second chance, maybe?
What could that tell you maybe about the bigger picture, even when things feel really broken?
Something to mull over.